add up those hours of training that you've put in for your next race, the physical hard work, the sweat, the tears, and the dedication to getting your body in the best possible shape. But what about your mind? Now, a triathlon isn't purely about swimming, cycling, and running. There's actually much more to it when it comes to mental preparation. So in this video, we're going to be addressing that, and to help us, we're going to be speaking to English Institute of Sport Psychology Technical Lead Deirdre Angella, and we're also going to be hearing from a couple of pros, Lucy Charles and Lionel Sanders. Right, the first topic to address in race psychology are those dreaded pre-race nerves. Now, love them or hate them, I'm sure you've experienced that slightly sick feeling you get in your belly before an event. And some people get it worse than others, but pros do experience this as well. And if they don't deal with it, it can have a negative effect on their performance, as it can ours. And it was Lionel Sanders who speaks quite openly about this when, just before the race at the Challenge Championship, the rules were changed and it was no longer going to be a wetsuit swim. Now, this put him into a little bit of panic mode, and he explains how he felt and how he dealt with it here.
Found out like 40 minutes before it would be non-wetsuit, which of course strikes fear in the heart of the weak swimmer. And admittedly, I lost a mental battle, and it struck a bit of fear into me. And then I walk out to the water, and I see that the current's coming this way. That's the way we're going into first, and the wind's coming this way. There's a little bit of bumps into it. And I said, "Oh, you gotta shorten that stroke. Take a real choppy short stroke." And I took that to a whole new level. I think probably had the 100 strokes per minute, new personal best stroke rate for the entire swim, and I probably got like maybe 4 inches per stroke of distance.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was really disappointing to swim.
Lucy, however, has the opposite scenario because she has her strongest event, the swim, at the beginning of every triathlon. And in this instance, she also had that extra pressure of coming back as defending champion.
Yeah, I think I almost felt more pressure though, because last year I knew I wasn't well, so I kind of took all the pressure off. I was like, you know what, even if you finish, it's going to be a win. Whereas this year I came in defending champ, felt really strong, knew training had gone well. So I was trying not to put too much pressure on myself, but I really wanted to win this one, so I'm really happy I did.
So how can we deal with those potential situations and control those pre-race nerves? I think it's time we bring in Deirdre. Well, to start with, what are nerves? You know, we all know what they feel like, but what is it and how do we deal with it?
So nerves is a description that we tend to, or we've been learnt to think of as a bad thing. Yeah. For me, nerves can be helpful or unhelpful. And helpful nerves are very much about using how you as a system functions. So it's your thinking, it's your emotions, it's your behaviour and your physiology. And we tend to feel nerves in our body, but nerves will also be linked to the worrying thoughts that we've got on our head. And the really useful thing is to help make nerves helpful. Okay. You can either use your thinking, you can do something differently, or you can manage your physiology. So there's lots of different options. It doesn't have to be just about thinking something.
How do you manage your physiology? What do you mean by that?
So what we know is that if we manage for example, if we manage our breathing, that sends a signal to our heads that there's less threatening things going on. Okay. So if you can manage that, and that response that your body's going to get anyway, it's going to happen. That's what it's there to do. So you just manage the signals that the body is sending the head.
So how, if you do have that horrible sick feeling like the night before the race or the morning of a race, how do you change that around? What can you do about it?
So that horrible sick feeling that you experience, somebody else will experience as maybe as excitement, as in, oh, good, I've trained really hard for this and I'm ready for this tomorrow. So it's not so much maybe about changing it, it's probably always going to happen because that's what your body does to get ready to do something that's important. So it's about starting to accept that it's there and notice it's there and practice allowing it to happen and stay on task. So your task for that night might be to make sure you've had a good dinner, you go to bed on time, you get whatever work or family or whatever commitment stuff done, even though you feel how you feel.
Thankfully, as soon as the starter's gun goes, you take those first few strokes, those nerves seem to magically disappear. But it's then that other mental challenges can arise. Those thoughts of self-doubt in the swim as maybe people come past you, or when you're on the bike and you're just not hitting the numbers that your coach has set, or you get onto the run and your legs just don't feel like you thought they would. The possibilities that your mind can throw at you are endless. Now, admittedly, it is different for a short distance triathlon to an Ironman, but I actually found that even racing a 200 metre freestyle, I had enough time for several unhelpful thoughts to come into my mind. Well, staying focused for an hour up to 17 hours, depending on the distance you're racing, is a massive challenge. It's actually something that both Lucy and Lionel touch on. They talk about their thought processes through their respective races at the Challenge Championship.
I never thought that I was going to win. Like, I never allowed that thought into my mind really until 20.5 kilometers. And really there was no reason to think that, because through lap 1 I had the deficit to Keenlay down to 35 seconds, into the front anger to 70 seconds, and then I ended up catching Keenlay, or actually after 2 laps I had it down to 22 seconds. So you do the math on that. Through 2 laps I had pulled back about 40 seconds. Yeah. So it literally should have come down to a sprint finish if I pulled back that same amount for the final lap. And I was mentally preparing myself for that sort of a thing to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Like, it's scary as hell, and I always kind of expect my run to feel awful. I don't know why. I think in training it normally feels awful all the time, and then I get off the bike in a race and feel pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I normally imagine them chasing and imagine them coming past, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm just kind of watching my numbers as well and making sure they're not dropping off, and just hammering it.
During even a short race, you're going to have moments of feeling invincible, and then you're probably going to have moments of feeling like you want to throw the towel in. Well, I think it's time that we spoke to Deirdre again to find out how you can keep your mind focused and remain positive throughout all of your next race. But once you've started the race, and hopefully those nerves, good nerves, whatever they are, have gone, but then it's a different challenge of how do you stay focused? I mean, triathlon on the whole is a long event. How do you stay focused throughout it?
That comes from your preparation beforehand.
Okay.
So it's knowing what it is that you're going to focus on and having that strategy in your head. But it's also, I think, really important to consider the what ifs. So there's always things that happen in triathlon. There's some things you can control, some things you can't control. There might be changes, the organisation could change the format of the event, or you could have a mechanical failure, or any number of things. So it's actually being prepared to be adaptable when those things happen, and rather than seeing it as a barrier, you already know what your strategy is to get through that.
And what happens if it's something that you couldn't have even mentally prepared for happens? How do you deal with that?
I think
there's a scenario that you've not imagined.
I think in principle, sort of good psychological practice, if you like, is around flexibility. So rather than dealing with musts and shoulds and have-tos that are quite definite and quite black and white, it's having that flexibility in your psychological approach to go, okay, that's happened, that's okay, I can deal with it because I know how to do A, B, C.
Okay. And during a race, I have quite a busy mind, for example, and I drift off all over the place. Like, how much of it do you need to try and stay absolutely in the moment for the whole of a race, or is it okay to drift off, and how do you bring your mind back again?
I think I would say it's almost impossible to stay focused for an hour. We're always focused.
And then an Ironman can be up to 17 hours.
Exactly. So I think that's part of the skill, is having the awareness to notice when your head's wandered somewhere, and actually, is that wandering somewhere helpful or not? So if it's not helpful, then you bring it back to what you're doing, and you want it to be something tangible that you're working on, or it could be on a visual, whoever it is you're trying to chase, or it could be starting to think, if you're coming into a transition, what you're going to do in the transition. So you're always focused on either what you're doing there and then, or what's coming up.
And talking about what's coming up, and say, we heard Lionel talk about he didn't start to think about the end of the race until 1K to go, and he thought maybe I can win it. Is it ever okay to think I might be able to nail this race, I might be able to win my age group, or oh no, it's all gone out the window? Like, when you start to think about the actual end of it, or should you always stay within it, if that makes sense?
I think in principle, you should be trying to stay in it. But then if thinking about outcomes starts to cause noise in your head and distractions, then it becomes about noticing that and coming back to where you are here and now. And again, it's what have you done in training? What do you know that works? What are the things that keep you focused in training? You're not trying to reinvent the wheel in a race. You're just trying to do what you would normally do in training in a specific situation.
Well, a really interesting insight there from Deirdre, and I actually find it quite refreshing to know that it is okay to let your mind wander, but it's about recognising it and knowing how and when to bring your thoughts back to the process at hand. And it's definitely something that I need to work on myself, and hopefully you can actually take that away and implement it yourselves. Hearing Lionel and Lucy talk openly about their thought processes both before and during a race proves how even the pros still need to actually work on this area. And it is very much a matter of experimenting and working out what works for you. And once you've got that process, it's about sticking to it. Now, if you are lucky enough that you've already developed a strategy that works perfectly for you, we would love to know. So make sure you share that in the comments section below. And if you haven't yet done so and you don't want to miss any more videos from GTN, hit the globe to subscribe. And we've actually done an Ask the Pro video looking at how they prepare for a big race, and that's just here